All right, my writing friends, if you're looking at this, you are trying to figure out where to put quotation marks in your writing, okay? So we're going to take a look at this example and try to figure out where the speaker is speaking and how we show that to the reader, okay? It says, she put Ulysses down on her bed and he looked even smaller sitting there in the bright overhead light. He also looked pretty bald. Good grief, said Flora. Okay, so here we have our first person speaking. Said Flora is my cue that somebody's talking. And to let the reader know that this person is talking, we put quotation marks around only what the person is saying. Okay, we don't have to put it around said Flora because Flora didn't say, good grief, said Flora. She only said, good grief. Okay, let's look for another, see if we have some more dialogue here. The squirrel certainly didn't look very heroic, but then neither did the nearsighted, unassuming janitor, Alfred T. Slipper. Ulysses looked up at Flora, and then he looked down at his tail. He seemed relieved to see it. He lowered his nose and sniffed along the length of it. I'm hoping that you can understand me, said Flora. Okay, so here again, we're going to put quotation marks just around what Flora is saying. The other thing I want you to notice is that inside the quotation marks, because this is not the end of the entire sentence includes what she says, we have a comma that goes on the inside of the quotation marks. I'm hoping that you can understand me, said Flora. The squirrel raised his head. He stared at her. Wow, said Flora. Great, okay. Okay, so now I have Flora saying wow. And I want to put my comma in and close that because I don't want the said Flora in there. But she continues on speaking. Wow, said Flora. I'm going to put a period there as well. Great, okay. I can understand you, and that's a small problem, but we'll figure out a way to communicate, okay? Nod at me if you understand what I'm saying, like this. Flora nodded, and Ulysses nodded back. Okay, so let's see where Flora is speaking and when she stops speaking. Wow, said Flora. Great, okay. I'm going to put a comma in there. Great, okay. I can't understand you, and that's a small problem, but we'll figure out a way to communicate, okay? Nod at me if you understand what I'm saying. I'm fixing that. I'm saying like this. Okay, so now I'm going to enclose that with quotation marks. And notice that because there's no said Flora at the end of this, there's a period at the end of the sentence that she is speaking. All right, Flora nodded and Ulysses nodded back. Flora's heart leaped up high in her chest. I'm going to try and explain what happened to you, okay? Ulysses nodded his head very fast. Okay, so now it doesn't say said Flora, but I know that she's speaking again, okay? It's not necessary to always put said Flora or Flora said, okay? Because as you go through the story, you get to understand who is speaking. All right, so I hope that helps. And if you need to redo this or look at this again to try to figure out where quotation marks go, please do so.